Well, hi everybody. I'm back from the dead. That's what I feel like. Um, this has been quite an experience for me. Anyway. I hope you're all doing great. No one to start talking about me. It seems like my knee replacement went great so far, and I'm getting around pretty good. It's been a little over, I think I'm right at 5 weeks. Um, but it was one of the most painful things I've ever went through. And that was my third knee replacement, but that was without drugs. Before, they always sent me to a rehab where they gave you drugs, and I had some problems the first time, so I was there for about 5 weeks, and the second knee replacement was after I broke my leg, and because I had that bar in there, I was there for about 15 days. So by the time they let me out of there with only 45 milligram oxys, which is enough for about 4 or 5 days if you're in bad pain, and I was still in bad pain then, but anyway, I did make it through. But I went in one day and spent one night, and they sent me home the next day with enough pain medication to last about, if I had taken it to really reduce the pain and rest, it would have lasted about 3.5 days. I tried to stretch it out to 10 or so, and anyway, it's the most painful thing I ever went through, and I'm just hoping with the new ban on pain medication, even for people that are in bad pain, which is ridiculous. I've had probably 15 surgeries in my life. I've been handed oxy by the 10 milligrams instead of the 5 by 250 in a bottle. The first knee surgery I had, and other surgeries. And I always had them 2 or 3 years later, because the minute I didn't need them, I didn't take them. So anyway, thanks to a couple of really dear friends that I had that sent me a few, I don't think I'd have made it through. It was I would have made it through. Anyway, I don't remember ever having any pain that bad, ever. With childbirth, with several of the other surgeries I've had, I don't ever remember hurting like that. But anyway, it was quite an experience, and it's enough to make me sure that I need to stay upright and not fall the rest of my life or whatever, because I don't want to ever have to go through anything like that again. So I just got my fingers crossed that I'm good now. I've been thinking about these videos. I've been watching the news. I've been waiting for something great to happen. Well, it looks like they're going to arrest Steve Bannon. That would be nice, if they go through with it, if they actually follow it through. I hope you're all doing good, and I hope you're not all watching too much TV. That's my problem, is I watch too much TV. At least I don't watch the corporate news that much. I watch a couple hours a day of it in the evenings, but I love the Majority Report, and I also love TYT, and several other left-wing internet shows that kind of tell you what's really going on instead of what the corporate media wants you to hear, which is to try to turn us against our neighbors so they can screw us. But anyway, I don't mean the corporate media screw us. That doesn't sound right. But instead of talking about what the real problem is, that we're just all bought out by corporations. Everything's bought out by them, and they're in control. And that's why they don't ask the right questions when they have a lot of the corporate news programs. They just scoot right by them instead of asking the obvious. But anyway, that's my take on it. And I've had so many people get a hold of me, text me, and I've tried to text a lot of them back and to see how I was doing, and I want you to know how much I appreciated that and how it always brings a smile to my face. And I also had people giving me donations, and I thought that was wonderful. Um, I wasn't expecting that, and I couldn't have needed them anymore. So I want to thank you and hopefully let you know how much I felt blessed by getting those donations. Uh, and I did get to catch up on my readings. I'm caught up with everybody. So if anybody wants a reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And that's readings with an S. And so please get a hold of me. And if you email me, put your phone number in there so I can get back to you. And if it's people wanting another reading, which I've got so many repeats, I can't believe it. You can just text me if you have my number, and I'll get right back to you. So anyway, I was trying to figure out, there's just so much stuff going on. It's hard to cover it all. It's hard to even think it all. So let me stick my glasses on here and see what's going on. I hope that camera's working. I hope I got enough light, and I'm just hoping that something's going on here. The last thing I heard before I turned the TV off just a few minutes ago, and it's good news, and we need some good news. Boy, do we need some good news. It looks like Andrew McCabe won his lawsuit. He got his retirement reinstated. He got his, even got a set of cufflinks and got all the records where he was fired from the FBI taken off the records. It looks like he was never even fired. I'm sure he doesn't want to go back to work for him. Well, I'm not sure of anything, but I assume he doesn't want to go back to work for him. But that's really good. It's time we heard some good news. It's time we heard a little bit about justice coming through. And that was a lawsuit that he filed. I'm not sure who he filed it against. Whoever, Trump was behind it, getting him out of there. But anyway, I'm sure it won't go back anything on Trump, but whatever. Whatever. He won the lawsuit. And that's great, and I'm glad. I'm not a big fan of his. I'm not even sure he speaks truth to power all the time, although he speaks more truth than Trump does. Anybody speaks more truth than Trump does. But he did win that lawsuit, and I was glad because, I don't know, I kind of liked him. I felt like he got at the raw end of the stick, and I was really glad to see that happen. So I thought, oh, gee, happy, something to... something to get back with people and put a little happy deal ahead of stuff. I've been waiting. I kept telling myself that I was going to come back on no matter how bad I felt, and I really felt bad. Anyway, I don't want to go back to that. I'm feeling better. I'm getting better every day, and my daughter's coming in tomorrow night from Florida, and my other daughter's coming back from Hawaii, and my son's coming in this weekend, and we're all going to go to dinner because it's my birthday, the 17th of October. And that's good and that's bad. It's great that I'm going to get to see my family and see all three of my kids together. I'm really looking forward to it. But I was going to go on with Becca and Johnny and Jen Lynn on Sunday night. They're having like a little birthday party for Becca when it's exactly the same. Her and I are born on the same day, Becca and I, both October 17th. And I was going to go on their channel with them, and I was really looking forward to it. And meanwhile, my daughter from Florida booked a flight here, and my other daughter set up to take for an evening out, whatever. We always go down by the ocean and have dinner at a nice place and stuff with the family and everything. So. And it's exactly during their showtime, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But hopefully, they'll ask me back on their show with them. Out of all the readers on TV and stuff, I really enjoy their show most. I think it's because they do get petty sometimes, with things the way they are, it's like when you're crying, are like comedians make more jokes when things are terrible, because sometimes there's just no relief. And so sometimes when they get to talking about this stuff and reading on it and laughing, and because I'm an old person, months ago, sometimes I think, oh, gee. But you know what? That's what I love about them. I love the way that they handle this mess that our government's got itself in. And I also love what comes from, I love to watch them read. I think they're all great. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Be sure and watch them on Sunday night. I know you always do anyway. But this is going to be a special one because I think they're having quite a few guests on. And they're really good. And I did discover something this last month. I had tried it before, but I hadn't tried enough to see what it really does because I was so afraid of it. But my knee doctor, and I haven't had any today, and I can't believe that it's skipping my mind the type of doctors that does knees, I can't even think what they're called. Oh, gee, good one for me. And here I'm telling on myself, and I haven't even had any today. But she wouldn't give me any more painkillers, but she did send me by the dispensary. And so I kind of introduced myself to gummy bears and the night chocolate to sleep, and it's got the melatonin in it, which I take anyway, which is actually saved me. And then of course my friend Mark Rhodes, he sent me I wanted to say echinacea, but that's not what it is. It's the stuff you use for bruising, for internally and externally. And I wanted, not only that, he sent me all kinds of things that helped me out, ice packs, even some food products that I thought I needed at the time. He was just a total lifesaver. And I'm not sure I could have got through this without him, so I want to give him a shout out on this. He's such a sweetheart. So what I'm going to read on, and it's a good time to read on this right now, is what's going on in Steve Bannon's mind. I can't ask any questions about what's going to happen to him, not happen to him, whatever, but I'm just going to pull some cards on Steve Bannon and see what's going through his mind tonight. We all know that he's smart enough, he knows Trump isn't president, and he also knows that Trump didn't win that election in no way, shape, or form. It was his plan to take over everything, and I still think he might know at least the organization that set up those 2 pipe bombs. And I think maybe they were supposed to go off on his orders, so they could call out the militia, and that's if they'd have went in there and actually got a hold of some of those senators or the vice president and actually tried to hurt them or started hurting them or already killed them, then they could have done that, and then they could have just declared martial law, and that would have been all she wrote about our democracy. We'd have never got our hands back on it. So I'm thinking he was even in on those pipe bombs. But let's see what's going on in Steve Bannon's mind tonight after all this. I think we know that he's not delusional. He knows Trump's not president and doesn't have the pull he did. So what's he thinking? Well, he's thinking about Biden tonight and Nancy Pelosi. Isn't that weird? But the foundation is this. He knows that he's in deep doo-doo. He knows he's in deep doo-doo. So we got the Three of Swords at the foundation. In the 4th house, we got the Page. So I really like this being in the fourth house, the page on him, because it shows that there's going to be some information coming through fast about this situation. Everybody's worried it's going to get hung up in courts and all this kind of shit for years, but I don't think it is. I think this page is like coming through with news on this right away. Look at this. Something being done about it right away. Him not refusing to show up to testify. And he's going to feel pretty foolish because he didn't before it's all over. Maybe not to the point of admitting it to himself or anybody else, but he's going to think, maybe I should have showed up for that subpoena, for that, to be questioned, so they didn't have to subpoena him, or maybe they already subpoenaed him, but, you know, whatever. So they didn't have to go forward. He just thinks, well, it's an offer I didn't want, and I don't have to take it because I know the ex-president. So that's what's going on in his house. He's still telling himself, well, I don't really have to buy into this because I'm still in power. For some reason, he thinks he's much more powerful than he is, and that he doesn't have to accept any offers from our government. Got the Four of Cups in the 7th house here, which is him refusing the offer. But look at this. Now, I think I heard Linda G. last week say something about she sees him singing like a canary. And my watch politics every day, not my psychic side, said, nah, I don't think so. He thinks he's above everything else. But you know what? This shows a deal being made. This is the energy around him refusing to testify. So it looks like he's either going to totally fight this, but from this card, I'd say the minute that they say, we got you, get in here, and if he just don't take the total fifth, which is what I thought he would do, it looks like he's making a deal. The energy around this is making a deal. It's a 2 of Cups. So it looks like he's going to make a deal. So he can stay out of jail. It's his hopes and biggest fear. He don't want to go to jail. But they're going to have to be careful what he offers them because we got the false knight here. So I don't know if he's going to tell him he's going to make a deal because he wants to screw him around. But whatever he does, he's not going to be able to. We got the Queen of Swords here. I don't know if this is Liz Cheney or what, but he's not going to be able to screw him around. So I think this problem of people saying they don't have to go in because of these subpoenas is good to be tested out with him to start with. Really good, because it looks like it's going to go through fast and it's going to work, whatever they do. So this looks really good. So this is Steve Bannon. This is Biden, new administration, Nancy, new people in charge. What's really going on? He's got a heavy, heavy heart tonight. He knows that he's in big, big trouble. Information coming through right away and power coming down on him right away. Him knowing that he's not making the best moves. He thinks he can control this offer, and when he finds out he can, it shows him talking, shows him making a deal. Because he wants to stay out of jail more than anything in the world. But they'll have to be careful because whatever he says is going to be lies. A lot of lies in with truths, maybe some truths. But that's all right. They're going to come down on him really hard, really accurate, and it's going to turn out really good for the people. Look at this. We got the Ace of Cups, which to me is justice for the people coming through. So it looks like this could be a good deal, what just happened, him refusing and them calling him in. And it also looks like it could go a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. I haven't drawn any political cards. I've just been reading for people for the last couple of weeks since I got where I can get over here to sit down, which I got to figure out where to move my knee right now because it's killing me. I asked the doctor when it would quit hurting, and she said maybe 6 weeks, so that means I got 2 more to go before before it quits. But I got my dispensary chocolate for night, so at least I'm getting to sleep at night. And of course, the only thing I can take is Tylenol because of other medications I'm on. And Tylenol, you might as well take 2 or 3 out of the bottle and flush them down the toilet for no more than they do for pain. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and keep whining. So that's what's going on. Oh, I'm just going to do past, present, challenge, and future on, did Steve Bannon know, was he in on those bombs being planted? Does he know who did it or what organization that did it? And was he the one that was supposed to tell him whether to set them off or not? I think I need to remember this, so if I end up being right, I can come back and say I said it. But I think he's behind this. I think he was behind it. This whole plan. There was a plan. Look at this. This is the past. Got the 3 up coins, the plan. He thinks it's got it buried right now, if he is on it, but it looks like he was in on it. The challenge is it's slow moving to find out if he was in on it. I just said things were going to get quicker, but maybe the connections are going to come through slowly. But this is also the slow and persistent night, so maybe it will come through. This is the challenge about it. There was money paid, definitely money paid. Sometimes that's even the mercenary. And it shows him in jail. I think they might find out that he was responsible. He knew about the plan. He thinks it's buried. They're going to be persistent, and he could end up in jail. So I do think, I had that suspicion. I hadn't drew any cards on it, but from looking at those cards, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to have it come out that he definitely was a lot deeper into this whole thing than they thought he was. That might be why he tries to make a deal when I didn't think he would, because they might have enough on him where he might not never see the outside of a jail again, and he may start singing like a canary, just like Linda G said. Let's see what Mark Meadows is going to do. I heard he was going to show up, I think. I don't know. Who knows? You hear one thing one minute and something else the next. But let's see what Mark Meadows is going to do. What are you going to do, Mark Meadows? I'm going to do 2 different videos tonight, and then it's going to be about 4 or 5 days before I get another one out, because I'm going to have my daughter here from Florida for 4 or 5 days. But please don't give up on me. I will be back. So, Mark Meadows, what's going on with you? Mark Meadows, what you thinking about tonight? What's going on in your little head tonight as the worm turns? Are you thinking about talking to somebody? Are you thinking about spilling the beans? What are you cutting yourself off from? Are you cutting yourself off from all of reality? Are you going to try to play stupid? Are you going to try to say you didn't know the law? Are you going to try to cut a deal? This is a weird card for the signifier, which is him. We got this is also the false page a lot of times. telling stories, telling deceptions. So maybe whatever testimony he gives, they're going to find out a lot of it's lies. I don't know. Let's see. And crossing that is whatever he comes up with, it's going to cause a lot of disruption somewhere. When I first looked at this, this is the Five of Wands. I thought this is going to be people in Congress that's upset, in the House, when he starts talking. But this might be the people around him, and this might be other Republicans. I don't know, but that's the energy around it, is people really having a fit about whatever it is he says or doesn't say. Maybe because he refuses to say anything. And we have the Hangman, but we have him right side up instead of upside down like he should be. So I think he's starting out thinking he's going to be able to hold this thing up, but he doesn't get to hold it up like he wanted to. Something comes through that keeps him from being able to hold anything up. So whatever paperwork, bookwork, subpoenas, anything forthcoming, I feel like will come through quicker than they thought it was. He knows where all the bodies are buried, and he's thinking that this might get him out of there. If push comes to shove and he knows he's in a deep, deep trouble, he's thinking he may know enough to get him some mercy, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of times this is Nancy Pelosi, but I don't think it is, and I think this is Liz Cheney coming after his ass. I think she's had enough of people saying she's crazy. Maybe he's going to tell so many different stories that nobody's going to know what's coming out of his mouth. This is like, if you can't dazzle him with brilliance, baffle him with bullshit card in the near future. So I don't think he's going to be truthful. I think he may be doing more talking than the rest of them, but I think if they really pay attention to what he says, they're going to be able to bring him up on lying to Congress. And this is Nancy Pelosi, because here's Liz Cheney again with her sword. I'm glad that she's on that committee. She might push the Democrats and show them a thing or two. I don't really agree with her politics, but I definitely agree with Republicans knowing how to push things through when they're right. Even when they're wrong, they push everything through. And the energy around this is the Republican Party all beating her up. That's the energy around it. But not all of them. Also, for the energy around her, is a lot of the Republicans really liking what she's doing. Even though they might not be admitting it out loud, they like what she's doing. I don't think they like Trump. I think they want to get rid of him, but they feel like they're in a catch-22 position. So this is Mark Meadows. He is going to let go of something. Even if he doesn't think he's going to, he's going to end up letting something out. Something's going to come through that he didn't expect to come through in his testimony. And it's going to be gold to get into the truth. And it's going to help us understand more about what's going on. So these cards seem weird for him, but this is like the spy in the camp. Maybe he thinks he can go in there and just tell half-truths. A lot of people arguing about what he should say and what he shouldn't say. That maybe that's his lawyers. The hangman upside down. He really doesn't. He thought he was going to delay this, but he doesn't get to delay it because there's something to do with the Democrats having their ducks in a row here, more so than people thought. And that's to do with the House, which Nancy's in charge of. I don't really, whatever. I'm not going to go into how I feel about Nancy, but it looks like she's going to be backing this pretty good. They're going to have all kinds of different roads to take, depending on what he says and what comes forward. And here's Liz Cheney pushing it, and here's the energy of the Republican Party around her, even though maybe if it's not out in the opening, in the secret, and maybe they're wanting her to do their dirty work and get rid of Trump. That's what it looks like. Because there is going to be a lot of secrets revealed, and it's going to help justice, and it's going to help the Democratic Party. So there's something about Mark Meadows' testimony, whether he just takes the fifth or whatever he does, there's going to be some kind of breakthrough on it. That's what I'm coming up with. Some kind of breakthrough on Mark Meadows' testimony. Anyway, I want to suggest all of you, if I wasn't doing these card readings, I would have just stayed totally away from the news on the TV almost. I'd have watched it every 3 or 4 days because I've been watching it to see what I can come up to read on. But I'm telling you, don't watch it so much because we're all waiting for something to happen. We're all waiting for a little bit of justice to be done. And thank God they gave Andrew McCabe back his justice, is what I feel like. When that happened, when Trump took all that stuff away from him, I was heartbroken. Not so much because I liked Andrew McCabe, but because I just couldn't, you could see the injustice in it, and it was really horrible. Absolutely horrible, and I was so glad to see all that put back where it should be. So, the next one is Michael Flynn. What's Michael Flynn doing? What's going on in his head? He knows he's going to be right in the middle of this crap before it's over. Even if he's not being called up already, should have been called up already, but he knows he's going to be right in the middle of it. Is he afraid to leave the house because he's going to get served, or has he already been served? Michael Flynn. I'm going to have to shuffle it one more time. Okay, I hear ya. Michael Flynn, what's going on with you? You little booger bear. That's too nice of me to call him a booger bear. Reptile bear, probably. Michael Flynn, traitor bear. He's a little afraid of Nancy too. Look at this. Or she could just be the token on the cards for the House. It's got him nervous that they're doing this investigation. And he's not sure he can cut himself away from it. He's trying to think of all the ways he can get uninvolved in it, but he's involved in it up to his teeth. Here's another baffling with bullshit. This is the foundation of the reading. He's thinking of all the different things he can come up with. Or him and his lawyers are talking about all the different ways that maybe they can get out of this. He did take money from the wrong people. In the close distance, past. Whatever he's doing, they know everything he's been doing. Look at this. The Hierophant's on the top of the reading. It's in the sky, which shows that they know everything he's done from the second he stepped out of prison. The women are celebrating in the future, and I don't think they're celebrating because he's running around loose. I'm thinking he might get locked up. even before I pull the next card. Let's see what's going on inside of him. Is he really so stupid to think Trump would get back in there that fast and is going to save his ass? He still thinks Trump's going to save his ass. I think he's delusional. He knows as many secrets as Bannon does. There's a lot of truth that he could shine on here if they can get him to do it. That's the energy around what he knows. He definitely knows where all the bodies are buried. He knows what was going on. I think he's just really planning like a civil war, and he thinks maybe that's going to come in and save him. I don't know what's going on in that head of his. Oh, he's chained to the devil. But it looks like he's going to end up in jail. I like this card. So, he's worried about the house and their investigation. He's trying to cut himself off from it. This is Michael Flynn. He's thinking he can baffle him with bullshit. He has been taking money from the enemy. Our government knows that. They've been following everything that he's done or touched. They've got records of it right now, ever since he got out of jail. Or not ever since he got out, right after he got out, as soon as Biden got in control. Women are celebrating, so something's going down with him. He thinks Trump's going to be able to save his ass because he thinks they're going to overturn the government because there's secrets he knows, maybe more about like Civil War. I don't know what secrets he could know unless he thinks the government would follow whatever. But anyway, I think he's very, very wrong. He's worried that they're going to find out that he was involved in this all the way, pushing it all the way. And everybody knows that he's tied to Trump totally, and here's the jail card. So it looks like Michael Flynn's going to end up back in jail. That'd be a good place for him. And so anyway, I'm going to let it go there because I sit down here and I start these and they go longer. Besides that, I got to get up and walk around. My knee is killing me. But I'm going to do another video here in a few minutes, and then I'm going to try to put both of them out tonight. So I hope you're all doing great, and I want to thank you for all the encouragement. And remember, for personal readings, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. And I love you all. And if you're still watching me, thank God. And thank God for you hanging in there all this time. I feel like I deserted you, but I just didn't feel like I could do this. So anyway, God bless you all. And thank you all so much. And namaste.